Hello dear student, today my topic is limit. I would like to derive all the concept of limits. What is limit? What is the formula of limit? How to find the limit of a function? How to find the limit of a sequence? Let us start. First of all, what is limit? Dear student, there is an function. The function is f of x is equal to x square minus 4 over x minus 4. We can see that this function is not defined at x is equal to 2. This function is not defined at x is equal to 2 because we get infinity when we put x is equal to 2 over here. So if this function is not defined at x is equal to 2, then it may be defined its closest value from the left and from the right. So what are the values of 2 from the left and from the right? If I see from the left of 2, the value may be just like 1.8, 1.9, 1.99, 1.999, just like these values. If I put these values in these functions, that what we get, these are the input values. When I put x is equal to 1.8, then we get 3.8. when we put 1.9, then we get 3.9, and when we put 1.99, then what is the answer? 3.99. After putting 1.999 in these functions, what we get? 3.999. Dear student, we see that as we move close to 2, 1.8, 3.8, 1.9, 3.9, as we move close to 2, then we get closer values. The closer values may be 3.99. It means it is 4. After it is 4. So if I put values from the right of 2, what are the values from the right of 2? These are 2.1, 2.05, 2.001, 2.0001. These are the values which are right to 2. After putting these values in these functions, what we get? Our output values are 4.1, 4.05, 4.001, 4.00001. So we can see that when we put the value from the right, when we put the value from the left, the function is defined, but the function is not defined exactly at x is equal to 2. Function is defined on its right, function is defined on its left. If the function is defined on its right and the function is defined on its left but not at 2, then what it is called limit. This is limit. So limiting values, all these values, so left values and right value, x approaches to a, these are all values of a may be 1.8, a may be 1.9. if a is the approaching values, these are 1.8, 1.9, 1.99, 1.999. These are the approaching values. These values are approaching to 2. If these are the approaching values, then we consider one number. So since x approaches to a, these are the values of a, approaching values. From left, since these are less than 2, so I will take it a minus delta, sometimes we call it a minus delta, small delta. And if I take the value from the right of 2, which is 2.1, 2.05, 2.001, 2.0001, from the right of 2, then it is a plus delta. So I can say that the x approaches to a, our limit is in between a plus delta and a minus delta. So we know that it can be converted into, it can be x is in between a minus delta and a plus delta, x is in between this. So I can say x minus a is in between x minus a delta and minus delta. So x minus a, we can write this inequality in absolute values. X minus a mod is less than delta. Okay, so what we get, these are the input values and these are the output values. From the input we get this inequality, from output what we get. Suppose f of x approaches to L from the right, since these are all approaching values, so their answers are also approaching answers. These answers are approaching to 4, not 4, approaching to 4, limiting to 4. So 3.8, 3.9, 3.99, 3.999. What it means that these values are approaching to 4. These values are approaching to 4. If these values are approaching to 4, so since these values are output values, all these values are the limits. These are the limits on the left. Since these values are less than 4, so I will take it L minus epsilon, any number. Here delta is also any number which is positive. Here epsilon is also any number which is also positive. L minus epsilon. Also these are the output values, and these values are also approaching to 4. 4.1, 4.05, 4.001, 4.00001. These values are approaching to 4. If these values are approaching to 4, so since these values are approaching to 4, a little much from 4, so we write L plus epsilon. It means that the function value is in between. It means that the function value is in between, f of x is in between L minus epsilon and L plus epsilon. So we can write f of x minus L mod is less than epsilon and is greater than minus epsilon. So sorry, we will not write this absolute value, we will write now. Okay, my f of x minus L, this inequalities can be written as f of x minus L mod is less than epsilon. So this is the definition of limit. What is f of x minus L mod is less than epsilon and x minus a mod is less than delta. This is the definition of limit for a finite function, for a finite functions. And for the infinite functions we just write x limit x approaches to a, limit of the function, what we get L, which is the limit. So this is for finite and this is for maybe finite or infinite. So this is the basic concepts of limit. What is limit? Epsilon delta definitions. So dear students, I think that you have learned all about limits, epsilon delta definition of limit. Thank you very much.